Warning, the following video contains math. Viewer discretion is advised. What up, YouTube? AR Platinum. All right, real quick, I wanted to give you guys an idea. I know a lot of you that are paying attention know that I'm killing this Willy Wonka ticket, and I wanted to kind of shed some light on what I'm doing to try and make the experience a little bit more profitable for me. Knowledge is kind of the key here, right? So I'm not saying, disclaimer, none of this is meant to say, hey, if you do this, you will be rich or you will succeed or whatever. But knowledge is the key here. And this doesn't work just for this ticket, but for every ticket. And I'm gonna do one later on the $20 millionaire ticket that we have in Texas. Whole nother story for a whole nother video. But a little bit of knowledge goes a long way to try and figure out exactly what you need to do to increase your odds of winning on a particular ticket. So you gotta have a little bit of smarts, a little bit of math, and a lot of luck, whole lot of luck. So basically what you can do is you can isolate yourself away from losers, right? You gotta think, probably 5% of the people that go in and walk into a convenience store and pick a ticket, whether it's a ticket they like or a ticket that it just catches their eye, is completely at random, and they know nothing about anything before or anything that might be still in whatever that said pack is for that particular ticket, right? So if you go into a ticket or into a store and you buy a ticket, and what you don't know is that the biggest ticket that you can get in that pack has already been pulled, you're not going to get anything other than a break even or a smaller prize. Most likely. You could still get a larger prize, but those odds are incredibly high. So we're going to more or less disregard that. We'll start with that first, though, to get it out of the way. When I won the $1,000, I mean, if you look at the odds, 1 in 13,000. It was 1 in 13,333 is what they had listed, but their numbers are a little off on two different parts of the website. But basically 1 in 13,000, all right? That is incredibly high. All the research and all the math you do is not going to help you find a ticket of that caliber. What I am going to tell you about is how to increase your odds in finding these like $100 tickets that are 1 in every 1.5 packs, right? Because that's really where you're gonna make your money. The 250s, I mean, I've won 105 times on this ticket. I've only won 50 once. I've won 20s and 10s, I don't know how many times, but I've won 105 times, 250 twice. That's really the sweet spot that we're talking about here. What's basically attainable. So if you go into a store, and we'll go to my little notes, my little hint section here, right? Keep track of everything. Write down pack numbers, ticket numbers, and try and start off playing a role when it's in its infancy, whether it's on last to first or first to last, whatever it is. When it's a fat, basically an entire pack, the earlier you can get in on that, the more knowledge you're gonna have. So if you're keeping track of every single ticket, you have a pretty good idea, and you can deduce later on what tickets remain and what tickets have probably been claimed. But for the sake of Willy Wonka here, I know that a pack is going to have, for the most part, 8 $10 break-evens, 4 $20 winners, and 1 $50. Now every other pack, 1 in every 1.5, so a little more than every other pack, is going to have a $100 winner. I can't really tell when that's gonna pop up, but I'm not shooting for those. I'm more shooting for the 50s. But if you do this enough, you'll hit the hundreds like I have. The way that I do it, I buy them 1 ticket at a time. Now I know Jack Scratch Fever, and this might work in PA with those particular tickets. It seems to work really well for him. And this, again, varies based off of where you're at and what your lottery does. But here in Texas, I like to buy them 1 at a time, which is kind of annoying for the grocery or the gas station clerks. But I buy them 1 at a time. If I lose, I go buy another one. If I lose, I go buy another one. And sometimes it's a pain in the ass, and I might lose 5, 6, 7 times in a row, which is not fun, unless it's followed with a $100 winner, which has happened. But if I win, I stop. And I know where I'm at in the pack. Ticket number 34, that was a winner. When I go back to that store later on, I won't buy another ticket unless it's at least at ticket 37 or 38. It's been 3 or 4 tickets. I want other people to buy potential losers, since the majority of the time they're not going to be back-to-back winners. So I wait a few times after I buy a winning ticket to go back and buy another one. This morning I had bought a ticket, the first ticket of the day I won $100 on. I had lost 2 other tickets from that same store, same pack, tickets 26 and 27. Yesterday, came back today, it was on ticket number 38. I got it, it was a $100 winner. There's probably, well, probably not now because there's probably only 5 tickets left in the roll, but there was probably still a $50 ticket in there as well. So, like I said, for me, I buy them one at a time. As soon as I win, I go to a different store and I take it from there. But I keep track of every ticket from every store, every pack. There's a lot of data that comes in that I analyze when I'm buying tickets. But again, luck is a big thing. But you got to know what's going on here, right? You're going to get 8 $10 winners per pack, 4 $20 winners per pack, 1 to 2 50s, and then it starts going, how many packs are these winners in? So hundreds are 1 in every 1.5. Again, this is just for the Willy Wonka. That 250 is 1 in every almost 11 packs. I mean, that's a lot of tickets to go through. And then the 1,000, you're talking 1 in 262 packs. You can't, all of this, you can't really plan for it. That's just straight up luck. But everything kind of in this zone is where you can isolate and you can increase your odds by knowing exactly what's going on. So another thing I wanted to talk about, this has a second chance drawing portion to it. Now I've got 134 entries, I think, and a lot of those have been pulled out of the trash. Don't judge me, don't judge me. But I went a trip to Vegas, I won't mind having to dig through a couple little tiny trash cans. Anyway, one thing that you can do to kind of increase your odds with this, or understand exactly what you're up against, is to kind of take a look, and this is where the math comes in, take a look at what tickets are remaining, if your state does that, and try to get an idea of how many tickets are potentially in the drawing. So for the Willy Wonka, and this is today's number, there have been 692,456 winners. Now, knowing that the odds are 1 in 3.46, we know that for every 1 winner, there are 2.46 losers. So we could estimate that there are probably, if there were that many winners, that there were that many losers. And that would be that many potential second chance drawing maximum entries. Now, knowing how many I've pulled out of the trash, I think, and this number may be higher, may be lower, I don't know. I think at max, 1 out of 4 losers are actually getting put into the second chance drawing, which would be 42,000 or 425,860, right? So divide that by 4, okay? Follow with me. Amount of winners times 2.46, which is the amount of losers per winner. You get the total amount of losers. Divide that by 4, 25%. That's what I think the maximum amount of entries are to date, right? Now, since there are 5 winners, divide that by 5, you get 85,000 and some change. And then divide that number by the amount of entries you have to see what your odds are for winning. So in my case, 1 in 635. If 25% of the losers go into the drawing, with 134 entries, my odds are still crap. 1 in 635. Rough. Now you can do the same thing with 10%. And even at 10%, my odds are 1 in 254. So that's if 1 in every 10 losers actually gets input into the system. So I'm actually going to reach out to the state of Texas with the Freedom of Information Act and see if I can get the actual number of entries that went into the first drawing after the drawing is held, so I can get a really good estimate of how many people are turning in tickets. And they might just give me that info, but we'll find out. We'll find out. So anyway, here's just some of the things, I'll wrap it up, some of the things I've done to help me do so well with this ticket. And any of the other tickets that I play, I do this too. And I want to show you guys the $20 Millionaires Club ticket as well, because 85% of the tickets have been claimed, and there are still 3 of the 6 grand prizes out there. So I want to show you some of the math behind that as well. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, got a little bit of insight into what I do and how I'm actually buying these. If you wanted the math, I don't have it since I started buying this ticket, but I have from April 3rd to this point, or no, April 7th up until this point. I think I've bought 77 tickets at a cost of $770, and I've won $1,750. So I'm up $980. So had I not won the 1,000, I would actually be down $20, which isn't bad for playing 77 $10 tickets. So I'll take that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know, and I'll make them for you. Holla at your boy.